Welcome back to the channel. This is the IPP Education Hub. If you are experiencing ED and considering an IPP, or if you are partnering somebody going through the IPP journey and you have questions on what to expect, then you've come to the right place. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about how performance pressure is killing men's confidence and how an IPP can assist with that. Now, I feel like we live in sort of this hookup / swipe culture these days. And a lot of times that can create pressure on both people to have this experience that not only is going to be great through just a foundation of being great, but you're meeting somebody and there's all these new things going on and you're sharing energy and all these elements. And that's a lot of pressure. And needless to say, a lot of times that pressure is put on the man to perform and to live up to this expectation or whatever it is. And I believe that it's that performance expectation that is really killing the confidence of these men. And so to further this, I would like to share a story about a time that I was with a partner. And as things were heating up, I pulled back and I said, "What is it that you like?" And I was really surprised because what she said to me was, "Well, what do all women like?" And to me, this really threw me for a loop because what I know is that all people like different things. Person A, person B, person C, they're all likely to like very different things. And so when I was being intimate with this person and whether or not they knew enough about themselves enough, but to have their answer say, "Well, what does everyone like?" To me, that was this grand element of there's too many options to choose from. And so it's that performance and that expectation that was really running rampant in my mind and really causing me to struggle with knowing, okay, well, what is the expectation here? Now, when it comes to intimate experiences, I really enjoy the communication and the connection element. I'm not just out here looking to climax and orgasm and sort of get mine. And that's why when I have moments where it feels like the communication and the connection isn't as deep or rich, it can lead to less fulfilling experiences. And prior to having an IPP, as I've mentioned before on this channel, that just created a whirlwind of emotions that put me in a place that I wasn't really enjoying. However, when you get an IPP, the mindset really shifts because you're no longer questioning, okay, and will I be able to perform? But now you know that you will be able to every single time. Furthermore, a lot of that thought process prior to getting the IPP, not just what does this person enjoy, but also what has this person experienced? Have they experienced being with a man with ED? And how has that maybe affected their mindset and kind of what they're expecting? For example, if you're connecting with someone and their last connection was unenjoyable because maybe that person that they were with was only in it for themselves, then that will create an energy within that person that you're now with, thinking, oh, great, every person I get with is likely or possibly just in it for themselves. But to me, what became the real enjoyment factor once getting the IPP was being able to dedicate attention to my partners to let them know that this is going to be nothing like those last experiences. It's that baseline of confidence that allows me to be more open and more secure and more patient and present in these moments, even if the communication isn't ideal. In fact, I'll say that the IPP has led to great intimate experiences that further the communication. And what I mean there is that after having an intimate experience, when having pillow talk with the other person, there's much more to converse about when both people are feeling like they are satisfied versus, say, having an experience where either person feels unsatisfied, or if you're unable to perform well and then that experience maybe ends too quickly, then that can create sort of a whirlwind of emotions as well that can lead to a lack of communication between both people. So if you've ever been in a situation where maybe you had really high expectations, but those expectations weren't met, then it can create maybe some animosity or just general feelings amongst two people that can make it challenging to communicate moving forward. But for myself, what I can say is that thanks to the IPP, it allowed for these more genuine experiences where both people were enjoying, which has allowed for communication afterward that has been really beneficial and rewarding as well. To continue down that trail, I'll also say this other great factor is thanks to the IPP, I don't necessarily chase that validation anymore. I love to communicate. I love to learn about the other person, and I try to be receptive and open to communication from the other person as well. However, if I now meet someone who, much like the person who said, well, what is everyone like? If I meet someone who isn't as effective at communicating, I don't internalize that anymore. I no longer look at that as a me thing. And instead, I just can kind of compartmentalize that into the entirety of the experience. And because of that, I can now focus on creating mutually enjoyable experiences. And since I've had the IPP, I can say I've had a lot more of those than prior to my surgery. Now, I think it's important to reiterate that the IPP does not allow people to just sort of turn it off. And at the end of the day, I wouldn't advocate for that at all. But instead, it allows people to avoid that spiral of fear. What if I can't perform? What if it's not up to their expectation? What if they're not satisfied? Whatever it is that might be leading to performance pressure is no longer going to be an issue. And therefore, with an IPP, you can enjoy your experiences so much more. Now, I get it. You might be in a situation where you feel like it's hard to talk about these things. We live in a world that doesn't make it easy to discuss ED, which is why I've created this channel to break that stigma and to be more open with these elements that we're experiencing as human beings. So what I can say for myself is that the IPP absolutely gave me my confidence back, and it was really beneficial when it came to my ability to effectively communicate with my partners. So if you find yourself in a scenario where maybe you're single and you have a lot of intimate experiences, or maybe you're just with one consistent partner, either way, if you are experiencing performance pressure that somehow is leading to a lack of confidence or an ability to perform, then I hope this video lets you know that the IPP absolutely resolved those issues for me, and it might be able to do the same for you. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to this channel and be sure to turn on those push notifications so that you are in the loop every single time we release a new video here on the IPP Education Hub. As always, thanks for watching, and be kind to yourself and be kind to others.